On the morning of May 8, 1974, India woke up paralyzed. A 20-day strike by the All India Railwaymen's Federation had begun. Over 15 lakh railway workers demanded 8-hour working day and higher pay scale. They expressed dissatisfaction over the Third Pay Commission. Third Pay Commission recommended changes to pay scale, armed forces remuneration, recommended pay scale reduction, merging of DNS allowance into the pay structure of next year, single increment for every 10 years of service, up to a maximum of 2 increments introduction of time-bound higher grade promotion. Faced with grueling work conditions, lesser wages and bonuses, rising prices of essential goods, worsened by a meager wage hike proposed by the Third Pay Commission, the railway workers decided to go on a strike. But the scale of it was unprecedented. The mass participation and the brutal government retaliation paralyzed the nation. Since the beginning of the 20th century, railway strikes have become a powerful tool for registering dissent against the state. In May, the first such major strike was called by employees of the Assam-Bengal Railways. This time, it wasn't about economic demands of rail workers, but against alleged inhumane treatment of tea plantation labourers in Assam's Chandpur by the British government. Tea plantation workers were said to be subjected to indentured labour, physical assaults, low wages, lack of mobility, hierarchical power structure creating social inequalities. Another heavily industrialized region was Jamshedpur. A large section of workers were women, most of them Adivasis. But the management was arbitrary and pay was low with no job security. Living and working conditions in the Chota Nagpur plateau area were deplorable too. Sexual exploitation was rampant. The sorry state of workers triggered the first mass sympathetic strike in India. In response, the British government deployed the Gurkha Regiment. Though the strike lost momentum after the first month, labour issues were finally raised in the Legislative Assembly. The press coverage pushed the government to set up a labour inquiry commission and pass remedial laws. This was inadequate, but legal sanctions were welcomed as a symbolic victory for the working class unity. Railway strikes did not stop there. Labour consciousness in the post-World War I year saw strikes at various railway workshops between 1922 to 1926. In February 1927, 11,000 rail crew of Bengal-Nagpur Railways, a private British company with 75% government ownership, stopped work. They were protesting the chief engineer's decision to transfer many of them. The strike spread like wildfire across other departments. The authorities deployed railway auxiliary force, and on the night of February 11, the force opened fire without prior warning. 40 workers were critically injured. The assault on unarmed workers elicited strong criticism of the government. Parallels were drawn with the Jallianwala Bagh massacre of 1919. At Jallianwala Bagh in Punjab's Amritsar, British Indian Army troops opened fire on thousands of people who had gathered to celebrate Baisakhi and to protest against a draconian British-era act. Over 1,000 unarmed men, women and children were killed. Railway workers at Shalimar, Tatanagar, Bhadrak joined the protest. From Madras tramways to Khidarpur dock, all sections of workers joined in. It caused a global stir. Monetary assistance poured from Workers' International Relief London, International Transport Workers Federation Amsterdam, other global labour organisations. V.V. Giri, then president of the All India Trade Union Congress, addressed the delegates of the International Labour Organization in Geneva, drawing attention to long working hours, lack of job security, inadequate wages, poor accommodation of the Kharagpur workers. And this is what the authorities did. A pro-state union was formed to jeopardize workers' unity. Militant strikers in the force were replaced with Europeans and Anglo-Indians. In September 1927, women workers carried black flags on the streets of Kharagpur. The strike went on till December with the help of AITUC, Finally, the authorities had to give in. The term of settlement? Agents would consider workers' grievances without victimization. Over 435 cases were to be investigated by an inquiry commission. The workers secured their lockout period wages. Strikes continued through 1930s, 1940s, and post-independence. Railwaymen struck work to protest 1945 Japanese bombings, 1943 famine, 1946 communal riots in Bengal. The British government was furious. Labour policies were shaped out of fear of communism and influenced the state labour relationship post independence. The 1974 strike that paralyzed the nation was a reaction countering this oppressive legacy. Then Indira Gandhi led government at the center unleashed police and paramilitary forces to arrest union leaders, intimidate workers, beat them up at most stations. Yet the strike tested the limits of democracy and exposed its inherent autocratic tendencies. Indira Gandhi won the battle when she declared emergency in 1975 and the general strike was formally called off. But 1974 was far from a failure. It led to a change in regime in 1977. When Janta government overthrew Indira Gandhi after the emergency, it reversed regressive policies. By 1979, Charan Singh led Janta Party government was forced to concede a bonus to railway employees. 1974 is a timely reminder of how strikes have been crucial to democratic setup. Looking back at history, it helps restore faith in collective mass action and the resilience of democracy.